Keeping it real, baby, it's the name of the game. Where does the name God come from? You believe in that name. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is what I'm all about. So believe me, you need to check this out.
Where does the name God come from? The information provided traces the etymology and historical usage of the word God in the English language and its roots in various ancient languages. To break it down into more accessible terms. 1. Origin of the word. The English term God originates from Old English God, which in turn comes from Proto-Germanic Gouda. This Proto-Germanic term has relatives in several Germanic languages, each with a slight variation in spelling but generally retaining the same pronunciation and basic meaning. 2. Uncertain Proto-Germanic meanings. The exact meaning of the Proto-Germanic Gouda is not definitively known, but it's believed to have come from an older Proto-Indo-European term. This term might have meant something along the lines of to pour or to call/invoke, suggesting that the original concept could have been related to either libation, the act of pouring out a liquid as an offering to a deity, or invocation, the act of calling upon a deity. 3. Pre-Christian interpretations. Before the introduction of Christianity to Germanic peoples, Gouda could have referred to objects of libation, like idols, or to the act of invocation itself. There's also a theory suggesting it might have referred to the spirit of a burial mound, highlighting the sacred nature of such sites in Germanic paganism. 4. Christian conversion and linguistic shift. Upon converting to Christianity, speakers of Germanic languages started using Gouda and its variants in a singular sense to refer specifically to the Christian God, differentiating this deity from the more impersonal divine entities of pagan traditions. This transition also included a shift from the word being grammatically neuter to becoming syntactically masculine, reflecting the Christian God's personal nature. 5. The use of God in English. The term was adopted into English during a time when the language was heavily influenced by Christian texts. Initially, it was used to translate Greek and Latin terms for deity in the Bible. Over time, the capitalized form God came to refer specifically to the monotheistic God of Abrahamic religions, while also being used generically for any monotheistic deity in translations. 6. Capitalization and pronouns. In English, capitalization of God indicates a specific deity, and pronouns referring to this deity are traditionally capitalized, for example, he, him, out of reverence, and are usually masculine unless referring to a goddess. 7. In layman's terms, the word God has evolved from ancient roots that may have originally described acts of worship or sacred entities. With the spread of Christianity among Germanic peoples, the word's usage narrowed to denote the singular, monotheistic God of Christianity, distinguished from the impersonal gods of earlier beliefs. This evolution reflects both linguistic and cultural shifts over centuries, from pagan practices to a predominantly Christian worldview.
Keeping it real, baby, it's the name of the game. Where does the name God come from? You believe in that name. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is what I'm all about. So believe me, you need to check this out.
When was the name God first used in history? The precise moment in history when the name God was first used is challenging to pinpoint due to the evolution of languages and religious concepts over millennia. However, we can trace the usage of the term back to its linguistic roots in Proto-Germanic and Old English languages. 1. Proto-Germanic origins. The term that would eventually evolve into the English word God has its roots in Proto-Germanic, the ancestor of all Germanic languages, spoken around the first millennium BCE or earlier. The Proto-Germanic term Gouda is considered the direct predecessor. 2. Old English usage. The Old English term God, from which the modern English God directly descends, was used in texts and inscriptions from the early Anglo-Saxon period, roughly from the 5th century CE, which is 500 years after the death of Jesus. In addition, the name Jesus was made up in 1500 CE, which is 1,500 years after the death of the character named Jesus. Furthermore, the name Jesus is a Germanic name. The usage of the term God was initially more general, referring to deities or supernatural entities in both pagan and Christian contexts. 3. Christianization influence. The specific connotation of God as referring to the singular, monotheistic deity of Christianity became more pronounced in English-speaking regions with the spread of Christianity, especially from the 7th century CE onwards. The Christianization of Anglo-Saxon England, which began in the late 6th and early 7th centuries, played a significant role in this linguistic shift. 4. Earliest manuscripts. One of the earliest known manuscripts that contain the Old English term God in a Christian context is the Junius manuscript, also known as the Cadman manuscript, which dates back to around the 10th century. However, the use of the term God in oral tradition and less durable materials likely predates this manuscript by several centuries. 5. Given the oral traditions of the Germanic peoples and the gradual process of Christianization, it's plausible that the term God in a context resembling its modern English usage was in circulation by at least the 7th century CE, if not earlier. However, the absence of extensive written records from the earliest periods of Old English makes it difficult to provide a precise date for the first usage of God in its current sense.
Oh, keeping it real, baby, it's the